Hey guys, I'm Daniel with Road Glide Daily, and I'm here with Amanda Joe with Cajun Thunder Motorsports. And we just got done wrapping up the rodeo here at the South Haven, Mississippi, the Scotty Triplet Rodeo. How was it? I see we're all hot, sweaty, and
It was awesome.
it was pretty
We
fun.
couldn't have asked for better weather out here.
It was.
Great riding, great surface, great people to hang out with. So.
Yeah, we appreciate you and your team coming out.
Oh man, we love it. This is our favorite. One of
So
our
we
favorites.
got a little interview here that we did earlier, and we're going to try to piece it together and show you the video. Hey guys, I'm Daniel with Road Glide Daily, and here with me today in South Haven, Mississippi, at the Scotty Triplet Rodeo, I have Amanda Joe. And you may have seen some of her videos on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. She is probably one of the more recognized and popular female riders in the motorcycle rodeo world. You can find her TikTok at AmandaJoe_1, and you can find her YouTube at AmandaJoe257. So tell us, how did this all come about? When did you notice your social media taking off?
Oh man, you know, I talk about how funny it is. You know, trying to be an influencer, posting videos out there, you can put a lot of effort into a video and think it's going to do awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and 5 likes here and there, you know, something. But one video in particular, I think that got the most attention was a drone view of a speed pattern when we were in Amarillo. I just put that video out there, and it ended up getting 30 million views. I could not believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you join? Like, when did you get on the social media?
Oh, that's also a little bit of a funny story. We were at a competition, I believe it was 2021 up in Virginia, and I just came down with this horrible flu, like cold, and I couldn't compete. I didn't get to compete. So I was up in my hotel room and I was just watching videos of the competitions, and I was like, let me just put a little slow ride out there. And then, you know, it got a few likes, and at the time I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then started posting a few more, and people started asking questions about the riding, and I was like, man, you know, this could be a good platform for, you know, educating riders, showing what can be done, showing different patterns that people could do to better themselves as riders.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know, actually, it was one of your slow ride videos was one of the first ones I saw, along with the drone video. And then that's when I became one of your early followers on TikTok, and then YouTube and stuff from there. So it definitely got my attention. I think, and it got a lot of other people's attention, as seen by your increase in TikTok followers.
Yeah.
So tell us, what is Cajun Thunder Motorsports? Where are y'all located? Where are y'all based out of?
So our home base is in Hammond, Louisiana. We've got a big pad of concrete. We've got cones, and they can stay up all the time. But through the years, we've had a bunch of riders join us from all across the country. Right now, we've got a couple that are in New Jersey. We've got someone else that's in Kentucky. And, you know, a few guys through the years have been from Texas, you know, Florida, all over the place. But the majority of our riders now are in the Louisiana area.
So when was Cajun Motorsports started, and when did you become a part of the operation?
It all started when, it's a funny story, my dad likes to tell this story. In 2017, him and my mom were in their truck, ride past a Harley shop. They had big balloons, they had a big motorcycle sale going on. He looks over to her and he says, let's go get a motorcycle, you know, knowing that she was gonna say no. Well, she said yes. So he whips right around, pulls into that Harley shop, buys a Street Glide, had never ridden before, called up his friend and said, hey dude, I just bought a motorcycle. Can you ride it home for me? So he did. Practiced a couple times just going around the driveway.
Yeah.
We didn't have the big concrete pad at the time. It was just, you know, a little circle drive, and then gets on the road. My mom's following in her car right behind just to make sure something doesn't happen. And that's how it started. Right after that, he quickly realized, my brother and I, you know, at the time were a little over driving age. He knew we would want to be involved, and he was like, okay, let's go get some real training. So we started in MSF, got training. And then we met a couple there who introduced us to the cone riding. And we were like, what? We could do what we love. So at the time, we had ridden for about a year or so and met them, and they told us about the cone riding. And it was the end of 2019 when we decided that we wanted to start practicing in that style. And so my first day of training was January 1st of 2020. Well, then the world exploded and COVID happened. So we like to tell people that we really had a bunch of advantages that not a lot of riders do. For example, we had amazing, highly skilled trainers nobody was working because of COVID. So, and we had that great big pad of concrete. It was all these factors perfectly in place for us to spend the entire year of 2020 training. That's all we did. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere, couldn't work.
Yeah.
That is what we did every day, every day, every day. So we got really a years worth of knowledge just compact down into 1 year. And we like to tell people also, we're just so blessed and so lucky. So anytime we go to a rodeo, anytime people want to come and train with us, we like to share the information, share the knowledge. So, okay, back to the original question, when did it start? Our first rodeo was in 2021.
Okay.
That's when we decided we wanted to become a real team. We saw other teams out there. We were like, we want shirts that match. We want to look like we're professional coming up in here. And so, after that first rodeo, we came up with Cajun Thunder Motorsports, and there were 4 of us at the time.
Okay.
Now it's grown.
Yeah.
It's grown. We're 10 to 12 members.
Yeah.
You know, it can fluctuate, but yeah, we're over 10 now.
Wow. That's so cool when I hear people talk about, you know, a hobby they picked up, you know, maybe on a whim or unexpectedly or spontaneously.
Yeah.
And then they just jump both feet into the deep end of the pool and just, you know, totally immerse themselves.
Yeah.
And COVID was a good time because there wasn't anything going on. And a lot of people got stir crazy. And it looks like you guys found your niche into
did.
something that was outdoors, it was physical, it was something fun that y'all got to enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a sport that I don't think it's growing. Like it's picking up. What drew y'all to the cones with the motorcycles as opposed to like long distance riding, like just going out with like, you know, the hog chapter and, you know, just riding cross country? What drew you to cone work instead of the cross country type of riding?
I'm a very competitive person, and a lot of our team members are very competitive. When I was just riding around with my family, a few friends, we learned that we could do what we had so much fun riding around. I mean, we rode the Tail of the Dragon, we traveled a bunch of different places, and it was just so much fun. And you know, a lot of the team still likes to go and take rides, but I don't know, there's just such a rush when you ride the cones. And for me, it feels safer than other things you could be doing with adrenaline. You know what I mean? You know, getting wild and crazy. Well, you know, I've always been into sports. I enjoy the competition a lot.
Yeah. Well, it is, as you see by people here, I think most of the motorcyclists are pretty competitive when it comes to the cone work.
Yes, and the coolest thing, there's so many good people. The camaraderie it's amazing at these rodeos. It's like you come out here and everybody's family, and that's a big draw to it.
I don't think, like everybody knows, especially everybody in the motorcycle community, know about the camaraderie. They know about the wave. I mean, you know, cars, you know, see motorcyclists wave to each other. And you know a lot of motorcyclists that will stop on the side of the road to help someone. But I think the rodeo aspect, the cones, take it to another level that the general, you know, motorcyclists who don't do the cone work and don't go to the rodeos, I think that camaraderie just goes even deeper that a lot of motorcyclists don't really realize.
I totally agree with you. Oh, yeah.
What was your first motorcycle?
Oh, yeah. Okay, my very first motorcycle ever was a Softail Slim.
Okay.
And
what color was it?
It was black, and it had flames on it.
Okay.
And it was so cool. I realized, though, I was going to quickly outgrow it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's super low to the ground, and you make any sort of, you know, lean, you're going to start scraping. When we went up to the Tail of the Dragon, I think it was the second or third time, every single curve, just scraping and scraping, and I was just having so much fun with it. But I knew it was time to move up to a bigger bike.
Did you name it?
I did not.
You didn't name it?
I did not. I should have.
You didn't name your first motorcycle.
I did not.
Oh, it's hurt.
I know. I did not.
Do you have a dream motorcycle? And if so, what is it? Like if you only have one motorcycle in the garage, that's it, none other, what's it going to be?
You know, maybe I'm super biased because I've been riding this blue motorcycle, this blue Road King for so many years, but I wouldn't say I'd have a dream motorcycle, but I do have dream parts that I want to put on it. I am in love with white wall tires. I just know that taking it through the cones, they'd probably get super dirty.
It would be orange and black when you got done.
They would. So I don't know if I'll get to do that as long as I'm riding the cones, but that'd be the dream. I think it'd be so, with that blue and the white wall tires. Oh, I think it'd be pretty.
So tell us about this motorcycle. What year is this motorcycle? When did you get it?
It is a 2018.
Okay.
I got it in 2020, a month after we started training, because I knew I was hooked. I was hooked. I was borrowing somebody else's bike, and I knew I had to get one of my own. Well, New Orleans, this is their color of their police bike. So it was a 2 years old motorcycle, yeah. It was a 2 years old police Road King. And so...
So it was actually in service before you got it, okay?
Yes, 2 years. So I got it, and at the time it had the white on the tank and on the fenders, and then on the saddlebags. But at the time, and also at the time, we were like, we have to have matching bikes. So all the guys had their black motorcycles, all the same. And I was like, I could probably get away with a different color. Man, and now you look out there, it's so bright. It's a little obnoxious.
I think it's become iconic with you, though. The red hair and the blue, it just stands out.
It does.
I mean, if you see all of us out there, all the police, on the bikes, we're either on a white or black bike, and we all have either white or black helmets, and we're all little dots out there running around. But then you see Amy Jo on the blue bike, and you know immediately who that is.
That's right. It's a lot. And then I had to get crazy. I put the blue windshield on, which you kind of can't see with all my stickers on there, and then the little mirrors.
Her trophies that she's put on her windshield.
It looks like, I don't know. When I did that, I was like, I'll stack them up. Kind of looks like a race car to me.
Yeah.
Where they have all the stickers and everything on, and I don't know.
Hey, in a couple years, y'all, she's going to have sponsors just stickered on the side of her bike. What I do like about your dad's bike, and we'll show a picture here while I'm talking about it, I like how your dad's bike is black, but it has kind of the blue flag in the middle of it with kind of like the rips and tears.
Yeah.
And your bike here also has the same rip and tear pattern with the black. So to me, that's the connection between the two bikes.
You're exactly right. We did that on the tanks with the blue flag, and even in our logo, you can see on the bottom, it has the blue flag to show our support for officers. Because we have so much respect, so much support for all the work that they do. We wanted to try and show our support.
Yeah, well, we love that. We always love it when somebody, supports police, but then they also find something that they can participate with us.
Yeah.
We love it when civilians participate in the rodeos with us.
I can't tell you how much of an honor it is to be able to ride alongside the police.
Yeah.
That is just the coolest thing
now,
ever.
I've noticed when they tell us to like gather around and line up, I noticed y'all kind of like park off to the side. Y'all can park in there with us, okay?
We never want to overstep,
No, we're all the same out here. We're just having fun.
Yeah, we're definitely thankful to be included.
What do you say to people who say baggers are too big for women and they need to buy a bike that's their size? I mean, I'm sure you've heard that. You see the comments all the time on.
Yeah.
We went out to you last night. You met my wife. And I told you how her first bike is actually a 2004 Electra Glide, and I started out on it. And I told her why. I told you why. What are your thoughts? What do you say to people when they say that bike's too big for you? And they haven't seen your videos. They haven't seen you in the maneuvers, but all they see is just, little Amy Jo.
Right.
And they see this bagger Road King back there.
It's all in the controls of the motor. Now, my dad and I have, since we're real close, we have practiced countless hours figuring out the differences in our riding ability, in the way that we control the motorcycle, and what we've observed. With him as a man with his big old muscles, he can maneuver the bike, he can muscle it more than I can. So I've had to learn a little differently. I've had to learn to use the clutch and the power of the engine to my advantage. So I would say for people that, make those comments, just use the power of the motor. That's what it's there for. Learn how to control it efficiently.
Do you believe that any woman, regardless of size, stature, or anything else, do you believe that any woman with training, with work, with practice, can handle one of these big bad baggers that everybody wants to talk about?
I absolutely do. Actually, I would encourage women to start, if they've never ridden before, to start on a big bike like that. because yes, it'll be intimidating because it's so much weight. In the beginning, I do remember being afraid of dropping the bike because it's so much weight, and you turn the bars and it just wants to dive down, and it's intimidating. But because I learned this kind of skills on a bike like that, it makes you so much safer out on the street. And that's what it's all about anyway. All this training, it's fun, it's competitive, but it makes it to where you can, make it home at night.
How does it make you feel when you're out riding the streets somewhere and you have an opportunity to use your skill that you have in the slow cones? Everybody else is duck walking their bike, or having to do a 3-point turn, and you just go out there and you just whip a 15-foot U-turn. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. There was one time I pulled into our little local Harley shop, and I do a U-turn, and I get to the point where I'm straight up, and I do a slow ride till I get to the front of the parking spot, and then I stop. Well, a few guys had come out, and they're like, "How did you do that?" I don't think they were familiar with the kind of riding that we do, and got to talking with them, and it just is, it's neat. I just wish more people, I didn't know that this was a thing, that this sport was a thing at all, and I wish the awareness for it would get out there, just the word spread about it, because it is, not only is it fun, we have determined it's fun, it's competitive, it's awesome, but it's the amount of people that don't know how to ride efficiently is scary. And I just wish that more people would get involved.
Do you think this kind of riding will help other motorcyclists, maybe the ones that don't want to do the rodeos, maybe the ones that don't want to travel, state to state, or the ones that don't want to spend, every weekend? Do you still think this kind of practice for your average motorcycle rider will make them a better rider on the road?
100%. Yes. I honestly believe, and I think a lot of people will will disagree with me, and that's okay, but I think a little bit of this should be required, to be able to get your endorsement, just because it makes everyone so much safer out there. I can't, obviously I'm passionate about it. I really I try and push forward so much. But yeah, I do.
What was it like learning slow maneuvers at first? What, and we talked about this last night. There comes a point where you do the slow maneuvers and you're picking up on it, but then there's that light bulb moment.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me what it was like learning, and tell me about your light bulb moment.
When I first started, I always believe I can do anything I put my mind to. When I first started learning, it was really hard. I'm not even gonna lie. It was challenging, it was hard, it was frustrating. And that kind of drove me more. I was like, I'm not gonna be defeated by this great big bike going around these tight maneuvers. So in the beginning, it was a lot about proving that I can do it. And then that light bulb, man, when it goes off, that fire is lit inside of you, and you just want to make every single rodeo you can.
What was the pattern you were doing when like it clicked?
Oh my goodness. It was, I've done so many, it's hard to remember, but I believe it was, I went into the pattern and I had to go around a cone, and there was a 90 degree, and I was missing that 90 because I think I was just afraid to lean the bike over enough to get it over there. I could make it around the cone, the little weave, okay, but when I finally I got mad. I was just dipped that bike down in there and then picked it up, and I felt it. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. So that's all I did forever, just working that 90, and then into U-turns and circles and figure eights and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny when, motor officers or civilians, and when we talk about the light bulb moment, everybody knows immediately what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you'll just try something,
Yeah.
and then you'll just make one little change, or you'll get stubborn and angry at it, and then all of a sudden, it's there, and you know it's there, and everybody else knows it's there, and you're like, oh, I did it.
Yeah. You know what? Oh man, so I've got this project I've been working on for over a year. Now my videos are not quite up to date. They're coming out. I'm working on getting them out there, but I've got this series called Creating a Competitor, and it's where I took this girl, Corey Bourne, from riding less than a year, maybe once every month, every other month, all the way up to competitor level, and her first competition was 2 weeks ago. the reason I bring this up is, we documented every single day of practice, and each one of those are going to be their own video. But I remember when the light bulb came on for her, I got to feel the excitement. I remembered back to when mine came, and just watching her was just as satisfying. I mean, it's incredible to see it
Yeah,
happen.
it is. What was the hardest part of slow maneuvers for you?
Oh,
What
my
was your
goodness.
hang up? For me, it was the keyhole.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I know you go in one way and you have 18-foot circle, and essentially it's the same maneuver in like any of the legs on the intersection.
Mm-hmm.
It's the exact same, but for whatever reason, it was the keyhole, and going in and having to come out, it messed with me.
Yeah.
What was your hardest one?
It was a pattern called the Santa Rosa, and I'm sure they've got the pattern out there. You can find it. It was dipping out of one circle. I wasn't transitioning fast enough to get into the next circle. So I would just get hung up in that little hallway, and I would get so mad at it because I couldn't, I was like, I'm not strong enough. I kind of went through that phase. I'm not strong enough to pick up. Well, I wasn't using the controls effectively. And man, that was a huge light bulb moment for me too. I stepped away from that pattern and worked on other stuff, and then the light bulb hit. So I went back to that pattern and could complete it without a problem. And I felt really proud in that moment.
What are some of your favorite patterns, and why do you like them?
Oh man, okay. I enjoy lots of patterns. I'll ride any pattern, but what I like is when patterns are wide open. And yeah, they might be easier, but really it becomes more competitive, because now if a pattern's tight, you have one path of travel you can go, right? Okay, everybody can do that. Well, when a pattern is wide open, now you have 5 different lines you could take. Now it's about figuring out which one is going to get you the fastest time. So that's what I like. I like wide open patterns.
That's good. Yeah, I haven't thought about that before.
Yeah.
I remember last year I feel like the cone patterns were drastically different than this year's at this rodeo. I know you've probably done, several rodeos since then, but this one has a lot of circles in it.
It does. Yeah.
And this
it does.
one is like you said, if you come off that line
Yeah.
on some of these, you're not going to fix it.
That's right.
Whereas the bigger open patterns, there's more room for mistake. If you
Yep.
come off one line, you still have, a couple others that you can take.
Right. It gives you a little bit of space if you need it too. If you make a mistake, you come in, not the way you usually run it, you've got extra space to play with too, so you can continue on through the pattern. So I think open patterns, there's a lot of advantages to them.
I would have to agree with you on
Yeah.
that. And final question, what piece of encouragement do you give to people who want to learn how to ride a motorcycle and those who want to do the slow maneuvers and the cone patterns?
Oh, to just make that move. Just do it. A lot of people will sit on it for a long time and think about it, and the fear builds up, and it discourages people. Oh, just do it. Just get out there and do it, but do it safely. Don't go out and get on the street. Go out and just practice the very, very basic maneuvers and building block approach. That's the best way to learn the skill safely and practice it that way, I would say.
Good.
Yeah, just do it. Just get out there
Yeah.
and do it, because men, women, police officers, civilian, everybody can do it. And it is such a good time. You make so many friends. I would encourage everybody to do it. And in the end, you become a safer rider out on the street.
That is true. That is true.
Amanda, thank you guys for coming out and supporting the Scotty Triplet Rodeo and participating. I'm sure you guys swept all the times and all the trophies.
Man, we're just honored to be out here riding with you guys.
Southern Thunder wanted to give you guys a gift as your appreciation. They got you a shirt here for you and your fiance. So hopefully they fit. But those are
That's
gifts
lovely.
from Southern Thunder.
Awesome,
And also,
awesome.
as part of the Carville Police Department Motors, we have a challenge coin here we would like to give you.
Oh my
And we also have one of our
gosh.
patches we want to
Oh
give you.
yeah, this is too
So-
cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks
Very
for
much
coming out.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
I'll have to come down there and visit y'all,
Absolutely.
see what we can do.
Yep.
But-
Sounds good.
Thanks for everything.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you again.